It's Henley. Mrs. Henley is the mother.
A happy little old boy. Usually he's close to his family. He's always loved people. He tries to take care of his brothers. He didn't want none of them to have to drop out of school. I don't know. He's just a little 17-year-old boy that was close to his family. That's all I know.
Do you believe your son did any of this?
No, sir. Wayne's not that kind of person. Wayne loved too deep and too much.
Hillegeist, Hilligiest. It's Fred Hillegeist and Dorothy Hillegeist.
It goes out to them. Our search has come to an end. I know that time will...
What we're doing now, some of the things that we're doing.
I'd say really right now, I think that she has a greater cross to bear than I have. Her boy is alive. I don't know what his destiny will be after this, but I'm sure that whatever his punishment in himself is more than I don't think anybody could ever do to a person than I'm sure all these faces of these friends that he lured into this situation will loom before him. But I can't, like I said, I feel sorry for them. I think she's got the heavier cross now.
Yeah, come on, man, I got some. You just hit lime again, so. Really? Yeah, you can smell it.
Oh, I don't.
There's a responsibility to fix it.
Yeah, well, that's all you know. I am. I look around and I see white and the only black in the crowd.
Some boys were buried.
Why were they buried here?
The Dean Coral decided he wanted to have sex with them. Didn't want to let them go, so he killed them, brought them out here and buried them.
Why here, Wayne?
Carrying this around with you for a long time. I mean, didn't you almost crack several times?
Yeah.
How come this time?
This time, I just haven't felt like I was going to be able to hold my sanity much longer.
What provoked you that night for you to decide to tell it all?
I just think I owe these people this much to let them know what's happened to their boys.
How do you feel about it now?
Open it up.
How do you feel, man? Come here, Wayne.
The words of the police chief offered little consolation to the families of the victims in the mass murders. The chief did say his department and other law enforcement agencies are continuing their investigation. There will be more digging for graves, and there will be more grief as additional victims are identified. George Lewis, NBC News, Houston.
One of the questions that remains in the prison murder of Jeffrey Dahmer 2 weeks ago is, where were the guards when the serial killer was beaten to death? A prison guard has told a Milwaukee television station one of the guards assigned to watch Dahmer was missing. Another was apparently talking on the phone and listening to music, and a third reportedly was in a back office. Prison officials aren't commenting.
In New York today, the verdict in the case of another man suspected of mass murder. A jury in suburban Long Island took only 2 hours to reach a decision in the case of Joel Rifkin, accused of killing a 22-year-old woman last year.
Madam Forewoman, has the jury agreed upon a verdict? As to count 1, murder in the second degree, what is your verdict?
Guilty.
As to count 2, reckless endangerment in the first degree, what is your verdict?
Guilty.
Members of the jury,
it may be the first child of many. Prosecutors believe he may have murdered more than 20 women, most of them prostitutes. New York does not have the death penalty. He faces 25 years to life.
The chief psychiatrist treating children released from the Branch Davidian compound say there is no evidence that they were sexually abused. Vicki Mabry has more on the disturbing stories told by the compound's youngest residents.
The surviving children from the Branch Davidian compound, all under the age of 12, say they were told to call cult leader David Koresh father and to refer to their parents as dogs. They report being paddled for minor offenses and say girls as young as 11 were old enough to have sex with Koresh.
I think that there was a sense and some evidence to suggest that there was inappropriate exposure to sexually explicit materials.
Officials at a foster home where the 21 children were taken in the first days after the bloody shootout between cult members and federal agents say the youngsters were secretive at first and afraid.
One incident that we saw was when a youngster spilt milk. His initial reaction was to cover up his head as though he expected to be struck. And that was one of the first messages we gave them here, very emphatically, that you will not be struck here.
But as the children began to trust outsiders, they revealed in words and pictures more about life inside the Branch Davidian compound. One girl drew a colored rainbow over a roof covered with black spots.
She took her crayon and went, and I asked what that was, and she said that was bullets.
Texas Child Protective Services workers were told long before the shootout that David Koresh was physically and sexually abusing children, but could not find any evidence. Dr. Perry says even now the children still love and fear David Koresh and will need counseling for years to come. Vicki Mabry, CBS News, Dallas.
If you did not kill these young people or the adults, who do you think did it?
Okay, let me be specific here. I'm not going to say who do I think. I'm going to say who do we know at this point. In the first place, there was never any single killer lurking the streets of Atlanta. In the second place, there was never any one Ku Klux Klan decision we're going to kill kids in Atlanta. No. What you have from what we're able to gather through nearly 30 or 40 years of investigation is that you had several groups of killers operating at the same time. One of the groups of killers was involved in a drug ring in Atlanta in some of the cases. We know this for a fact. One of the other groups of killers was involved in a child sex ring, and I think they had suspects in this case, okay? And they actually had eyewitnesses to 2 of those killings. Another group of killings did involve some white supremacists in some of the cases, and when we went to trial, we didn't find out, but the GBI actually has recordings of one of these ex-Klan members admitting to killing, I think it was Ruby Jeter, because he took his gold card and hit this guy's car or something like that. So my point is this. The authorities knew who these people were. Luke Graham knew this. Sidney Dorsey knows this. And what I'm saying is that I'm just asking that you demand that they put this evidence out so you will see for yourself what the attorneys saw in the case, what the police know. It's time to bring this stuff out and let the public know, and let's call names with these suspects.